Good morning. Welcome to Sunday school here at Christ the King Lutheran Church, where all are welcome, no exception. This morning we continue our conversations about generations, and this morning I am excited to introduce you to the Gen Z panel, the Generation Z. Put your hands together for Gen Z. All right. They are being so brave by being part of this panel. Gen Z is from about 1995-ish. These dates are always a little ishy. So, 1995-ish, to 2012. So it's a pretty big spread, so we're thankful. But these guys are being so brave in being willing to sit up here and answer my questions and have you all listening to them. So thank you for your presence with us today. All right, panel. Haley's already giggling.
Haley, stop.
So tell us about who you are, your name, and what year you came to CTK. And if you want to say how old you were when you got here, that's okay with me. So, who's going to go first?
I'll start.
Jack.
I'm Jack. I came here last year, 2023, and I was 23. So,
Yay.
I'm Anna. I came here in I think 2008, and I was like 3.
I'm Haley. I came here in 2021, and I was 23.
I'm Theo. I came here when I was 0. And I don't know what year that was. Oh, I guess it was 2000. What? No, would it have been 2006? Well, I was born in December of 2005. So it was 2006.
I'm Thomas. I joined 7 years ago, so 2017, and I was 7.
Hi, Matt.
No, 6. What?
It's all the math. It's okay.
6. It's 6.
All the
this
math.
is a weak point of our generation.
Yeah. Jack said, this is the weak point of our generation, all this math. You know?
Whoa.
All this
COVID messed it up.
I know, COVID. Thank you, COVID. So give us a moment that was a turning point in your life. Share a time that was a turning point for you. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Thank you, Theo.
Turning point for me was probably my junior year in high school. Everything kind of hit all at once. The classes got harder. College started becoming a thing that I had to worry about and focus more on. So life wasn't as much of a cakewalk as I thought it was up until then. So I'd say I kind of really woke up, and that was a big turning point in my life.
Thank you, Theo. Who's next?
I think a big turning point in my life is when we moved from Winston-Salem to Cary to come to this church from our old church, and that just because I've known everyone here for 7 years, and I've known a lot of my classmates.
One of the biggest turning points in my life, we'll probably talk about COVID later, so I'm not even going to use that one as an example, but that was one. I wrote one of my college essays about this. There was a time in high school, up until my sophomore year of high school, I was very focused on what other people thought of me and how I was being perceived and getting in with the right crowds and just wanted to be the cool girl. So I was juggling a bunch of different things at the beginning of high school. I was desperate to be a cheerleader, but also I'm a theater kid at heart. And there was this one instance my sophomore year where I was in a production of Anne Frank, and the English teachers were giving credit to anyone who goes to the show and writes a little report about it. They get extra credit. And I saw a bunch of my like popular friends, acquaintances, however you want to call them, in the crowd that night, but I saw them leave at intermission, and I told the teacher that they shouldn't get extra credit because they left at intermission.
Snitch.
I was a snitch. And then I got absolutely destroyed on Twitter for snitching on them. But I like didn't even care because it was the first time in my life where I started like following my own set of values and like not caring about what other people thought of me. I knew I would get scrutinized for it. Burned a lot of bridges, but I don't regret it one bit because I chose what I was more passionate about.
Good, thank you.
I think a big turning point in my life, like especially in the church, was when Haley came because before it was, I mean, okay.
Speak a little bit loud.
Sorry. Okay. This is scary. Okay.
I know, it's okay.
I think before none of the youths were as close as they are now. Like we have such a great group of youths, and we're like such a big family. Like from elementary school all the way to high school. Before it was like high schoolers were so separate from middle schoolers, were so separate from elementary school, and even within those groups, we were all so separate from each other. And there are only like certain people that you felt like you could go talk to for things. And now I just feel like it's open for anyone. Like you can just go and talk to anyone about anything, and everyone's so understanding. So I really thank Haley for making such a great environment for us.
I guess I have to follow that one. I think like Haley said, save the COVID one, but I think just graduating from high school and then moving into college is like, that's probably a standard answer, but it's like a big change, and I feel like you get to know a lot more about yourself and make yourself, sort of like what Haley was describing as well. Yeah.
Thank you. So what was the historical event? I think I'm going to know which you're going to answer. What historical event do you think is a defining part of your generation?
Should we say it all together?
COVID.
Everyone else.
All right, now say more about how COVID impacted you.
I'll start. So COVID hit for me when I was a senior in college, and it destroyed, the end of my senior year. But it was really tough moving to a new place and not really being able to, go out and meet people as you would. But it, especially not only because it was like something that everybody was going through, it was kind of uniting that I knew a lot of people were in the same boat, but it also really shook me to my core because up until that point in my life, I thought, like, I was a big planner, and I, had like a 5-year plan. I had ideas of what I wanted to do and everything, and where I wanted to go to grad school and where I wanted to move and all this stuff, and COVID just like made that go right out the window. And ever since then, I've been like, things are probably never going to go the way that you plan them, so why waste so much mental energy trying to plan them out when they're probably going to get all messed up anyway? So it really loosened me up in some ways too, which is nice.
When COVID hit for me, I was in 8th grade. The thing that I am still bitter about is in 8th grade, we were supposed to take a school trip to Washington, D.C. We were going to get to stay with our friends in hotels. It was going to be so much fun, but no. We didn't get to do that because of COVID. But yeah, so it hit in 8th grade. We all went home. And then into my freshman year of high school, being all virtual all year, especially starting high school, was a very hard experience. You kind of have to navigate like how you're gonna meet new people, make new friends, connections, and all of that. One of the biggest things that helped me was sports in my high school. Even though we were all virtual, we were still able to go in and play sports in masks, which is horrendous if you've ever tried that. But freshman year, I played varsity basketball and JV baseball, and I made a whole lot of friends doing that, and it made my COVID experience way easier than if I was just at home on Zoom meetings in my classes. But yeah, I think that a lot of us have that same experience of making friends and connections during COVID. And some people have the experience of not being able to make friends and connections during COVID, which is also something that affects everybody's lives.
I was also in my 8th grade year when COVID hit, and I think the big thing about it was it really forced you to learn about yourself because there wasn't anyone else to really like change who you are. I mean, because everyone gets influenced by other people. Like you literally only had yourself to be influenced by, and then like social media. But like you really had a lot of reflection time. For like my whole life going up to 8th grade, I wanted to be an engineer and follow my dad's footsteps. I like applied to like the early college at NC State, and I did get into that, but I didn't go to it. So kind of glad I didn't though, because I wouldn't have made some of the friends that I made and I have now. But I think at that time I realized that I didn't like math as much. And then I also realized that I have a calling for like social justice and like helping people in that way. So I'm glad that I was able to learn myself in that way. Do have to add on about that mask in sports. It's terrible. The first day of practice at gymnastics with the mask on, me and Rebecca wore the wrong mask, and it got so sweaty, and we were like waterboarding ourselves. So that was not fun. But
I was in 3rd grade when COVID hit, so I missed, and it was from 3rd grade to probably the half of, it was like near the end of the year in 3rd grade to halfway through 4th grade when we finally got to come back with masks. But I missed mostly of like the important like multiplication that you learned during those grades. And so like a lot of people that are my age now and in my classes just are really bad with multiplication because we missed out on like the biggest years for it, and just our testing is like really bad because we never truly learned how to test. And I also got an add-on that during the day when we had masks, it would get moist and then just like absolutely disgusting.
Say that word again.
Moist.
All right, I have a follow-up.
Great.
Can you tell me what 12 times 7 is?
I couldn't either. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. What's 10 times 7?
70.
And what's 7 times 2?
14. Oh, you add them together.
So what's 70 and 14 added together?
84.
Yeah.
We're not alone. Guys.
Yeah, I think these guys summed it up well. To finish, back to the question. I think on my end of it, I was lucky to have done most of my important schooling. I guess I was right in the middle of college when it hit, and obviously it changed a bunch of things. But at least for me, looking back, while I know it wasn't the greatest time for the world, I really look back on it with like a kind of a high point in a way, just how much it changed everything, slowed down everything, which is almost impossible to do even since then in the same way. And as much as there's struggles, I almost think that we were one of the best people and most able to change and adapt to it when you compare to someone much younger or older. So I think that, standing up in that change and figuring out what we wanted to do with it and how we're gonna grow from it was a big part of it for all of us. So.
I do want to add on really fast. I remember my first day of sophomore year, and we were in the hallway for some reason, and every single freshman was getting a tour of the school, but we weren't, and I didn't know where anything was either. So we were also freshmen, but we didn't get a tour.
Yeah.
So the assumption was you already knew you were a sophomore, but you didn't have the same experience.
Nope.
How hard. So now that we're on this side of COVID, what do you think people would have done differently knowing what we know now about COVID?
About COVID.
Quarantined a lot better.
I really think that it was having to be so much in a rush that it really, I do think, impacted schooling, like one of the biggest things. And I think ability to plan that out and have a better plan for every grade level, what that would have looked like to best serve their needs, but also the needs of everyone they touched and interacted with, would have been, you know, a bigger step up. So, yeah.
I mean, we probably would have chose to do it like New Zealand or one of those countries that eradicated it really quickly. But come back to me. I lost my train of thought.
I think people would have taken masks a lot more seriously. I know at school it was really cool for you to not wear your mask correctly. And I think I always wear it right now. Don't worry. But no, I promise I did. But I think that a lot of kids didn't realize how serious it actually was, just because you're seeing it all being joked about online, because we are so surrounded by social media throughout COVID, because that was like our only, not our only way, but like our main way of connecting to others. Because we were still young, that's like the only way we really knew how. And so no one took it as seriously as they should have. Because not everyone had someone like my mom in the home where she knew what was going on. She knew how she like was giving vaccines, and she got updates constantly, and we got updates constantly. But not everyone had someone like that. So even like the adults in the home were making jokes about it, and I don't know. I mean, there were people who thought that it wasn't even a real thing, and I don't know. I just think that masks would have been taken a lot more seriously, just to get it done faster or make it better faster.
You just like brought a point to mind that is kind of related. I feel like a key trait that a lot of Gen Z carries together is coping with humor. I feel like there's so much going on in the world, and we're just witnessing it all, that we can't do anything but just kind of joke about it sometimes, because there's just so much bad stuff that if we focused on how bad a lot of things are sometimes, we would never get out of bed. So we're resilient in that way.
Anybody else want to say anything?
All of my points have been taken.
Okay.
Sucks. Be more original.
All right, I'll move on to the next question then. So what invention do you think about that we have now that would be hard to go back and live without?
TikTok.
Sucks because it's getting banned.
I would say like the invention of the iPhone, or, things like that. But also, I kind of wish they were never invented. Like, it would be hard to live without them, but I don't think they're doing much good. And if everyone could just collectively decide that we're not going to use, like, smartphones anymore, that'd be pretty cool. Everybody bring back the flip phones. Internet, we're keeping around. But I think we could do without social media. I think we could do without iPads.
Like, it's not necessarily the tool that's the problem, but it's not necessarily being used in the best way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my invention would be the Nintendo Wii.
Yeah.
That was a vital part of my childhood, and it still comes out of the basement every once in a while to play some bowling.
Mine's currently set
I will
up,
have you know, I am skill level 1,200 in bowling, and I have the special star ball.
Oh my.
And that's a feat of mine that I hold very dear to my heart.
In
And
sword
I
fighting?
think if I didn't have the Nintendo Wii back when I was a child, I don't know how I would have turned out. I think I might have just fallen down the wrong path.
Fully agree with you.
Ooh.
And it's
It
labeled
would've
as a
been tough.
vintage console now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
I saw a pop punk song on TikTok the other day where it went, I sold my childhood weed for $30. It was like a whole song about being nostalgic. But I would literally get a tattoo about a Wii because it was that pivotal.
I'll get one too.
Cool. Let's get matching Wii tattoos.
I'm not even. I was listening to Super Mario Galaxy music yesterday in the kitchen. Also, my sword fighting level is 2,317.
So I had a life.
I was like 4.
You'll get one day too, Thomas.
So Theo, is your Wii going with you to college?
Honestly, that's a great idea.
If my siblings let me have it.
They won't notice. Just take it.
Might be a great graduation gift, right? Your very own Wii. Can you even buy them now?
They're not produced anymore, I don't think.
You get them on
But
Facebook
you can still
Marketplace.
buy them, yeah.
We have
For
one,
probably
so if you need
$30.
one, you let me know.
Can I add one more in?
Yeah,
I
please.
think, like, I'm gonna call it Spotify, but being able to stream music, huge too. Just all types of it, everywhere. You learn how much more you get to listen to rather than having to buy your music. And I really hope we don't have to go back because it seems like we might have to. Who knows? Yeah.
I take back everything I said about smartphones because it allows us to be able to have things like Spotify where we can listen to music all the time and whatever song we want.
I feel like the invention almost of YouTube. Like,
That too. Yeah.
You're a YouTube guy, aren't you?
not anymore. But just because like a lot of people wouldn't know how to do so many things like without being able to just search up how to do it.
That's true.
And it's just like it without it, a lot of people would not be very lost.
You're totally right. I looked up how to change a tire on the side of the road one time on YouTube because
Did it
I
work?
knew it existed,
Were you
and
successful?
mostly, I was mostly successful too.
Very good. Thank you. How much is your, this might not work so well. Let me see. I'm going to read it the way it's printed, and then you modify it to make sense for you. How has your taste in food, music, or culture shifted over the years? How is your taste in food shifted since you
In
were
my old
itty
age.
bitty?
In my old person age, I've definitely decided that I don't know. I can't. I don't really know. I haven't really changed much. I mean, I try more foods.
Or start from the place of what is your choice? What is your taste in food, music, and culture?
My taste in music is Harry Styles.
That's it.
I love Harry Styles and Billie Eilish. Yep. Yeah. I don't really know.
I like tomatoes now. I used to not. I like peanut butter a little bit, and even just in college, my taste in drinks changed a lot.
Drink.
I used to only drink.
What do you mean by that?
Listen. I used to only drink barefoot Moscato, and now I'm a red wine girly. So that's a giant shift. A giant shift. But music, I feel like my parents raised me really well to have a very broad music taste. I feel like I listen to stuff from every decade. And also it's really cool that the radio isn't the thing that is I don't know, deciding what people listen to now. So somebody can have a completely different music taste from you, all bands you've never heard before, that no one's ever heard it before because they just stumbled upon it one day. And I think that's really cool that there's far more variety. I mean, I don't really know. Somebody could correct me on that. But I feel like we probably all have very different tastes in music because of the access that we have.
You brought up TikTok last question. I can't think how many things I've learned, tried, discovered because of people introing that and saying hey, check this out, and that really applies to all tastes, you know. And I think it's you just have this endless bulletin board to share things, which is really cool.
I've always liked chicken tenders and pizza. That is my go-to. Anything carbs is pretty much what I like. My taste, however, has expanded. I do dabble in my greens. I like green beans and asparagus. I've increased my palate. I like some of the fancier things in life, like salmon. I love salmon, but fish tacos is not it. Sorry, Mom, don't like fish tacos. Not good. Okay, and then in my music sense, I forgot about milk. Let me tell you guys about milk. I think our family probably buys about 5 gallons of milk a week.
Those got milk
More?
commercials as a kid, best marketing ploy you've ever seen.
Right.
Yeah.
They probably don't even remember that. But we remember the Got Milk campaign.
Does a body good.
What?
Got Milk.
I never drank milk as a kid.
My doctor told me I could not drink 2% milk anymore. I had to drink skim milk. He said it was too rich for my blood. So, okay, off the topic of food and drink now. My music taste. I have a very broad music taste. I kind of listen to everything. I really like country. I basically like anything. I like a lot of country though. So, and then you can go.
So I haven't had that much time for like stuff to really change from when I could actually like start eating, but I will also start listening to music. Like I would say it's also a wide variety, but I listen to the same song like over and over and over and over again.
Until you get sick of it.
No,
Mario
I don't
Galaxy
get sick of
music.
it. I've had the same alarm for like 4 years.
What is it? Can you sing it for us?
No. But if I had my phone, I could play it. But my food, it just hasn't really changed. Like we have a go-to dinner. We have boring dinner, which is just chicken nuggets, mac and cheese, and green beans. It's not boring at all, but it's amazing. So that's just
Call it
like
boring dinner.
yeah, it's just like the best foods, and like salted green beans. Yeah.
I call that girl dinner,
Yeah.
personally.
We called it boring.
That's my girl dinner.
We eat it probably 3 times a week.
I love that.
I eat it 3 times a
30
week.
times a week.
Look at that mom over there. Do you want to add to the
You're a pretty big
conversation?
eater.
Sorry, Mom. My dietitian mom.
She's like,
What's said in the panel stays in the panel.
Yeah, except that it's being live streamed. So you want to add to this? Jack, do you have anything?
I'll just continue on with our little TikTok thing
Yeah.
because I was telling my dad about a TikTok I saw this morning. He's like, "That's probably fake." Everything I say that I see on TikTok, he says is fake, and I don't think all of it is fake. Some of it's fake, but I don't think all of it is. What did you say? Anyway, it was a girl who fell in her pool with her prom dress on. That's so sad. Yes. And he said
Maybe
that
she
was
should have
fake.
been more careful.
That's what
Just don't fall.
Anyways, I think I've learned lots of things from TikTok. There are many fun crafts that I've found through TikTok. There are many fun sayings I have found through TikTok. And I've found a bunch of apple fritter recipes on TikTok because I'm on a mission right now to make them like my dad likes them. So I feel like we shouldn't hate on TikTok that much.
I don't know.
Instagram.
That's the thing.
Instagram Reels.
It'll be
Reels is
fine.
so-
I
yeah.
spend too much time on it anyways.
Fine.
Yeah, Reels has sort of been transitioning to the better one, I'd argue. Like,
I disagree.
but I mean, it depends. Like, if it goes away, I think it's gonna meet the need.
I do think it's an important point to make for all the TikTok skeptics in the crowd. It does rot your brain a little bit,
Brain
but
rot.
you can also learn a lot from it. My whole curated page on TikTok is a lot of like therapy stuff, a lot of like healthy relationships, setting boundaries, and also apple fritter recipes and stuff. So you just have to,
Just set an app timer.
yeah,
Yeah.
and don't ignore the timer.
Yeah.
I feel like kids my age, like specifically like my age and younger compared to you guys, like brain rot is an awful thing. Like I'm trying to think of an example that will make sense.
Skibbity toilet.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a toilet with a guy's head singing a song, and that is something that kids my age watch.
All on TikTok.
Yeah.
A wide variety.
So, how do people on the Gen Z generation talk about faith and God? How do you talk about faith and God?
I know that coming right out of COVID, I had an art class junior year. I had an art class junior year, I think. And it was, which isn't right out of COVID, but it's still pretty fresh. But I remember I was just talking to the kids at my table, and I was talking about how I was a Christian, and I got like the most judgmental stares from them. They're like, "Oh, you're a Christian," and so they automatically, because of TikTok and everything, and social media really puts a bad light on a lot of Christians, just because there are some that, I mean, have some questionable values. But I mean, I had to sit there and be like, no, like, my church is amazing. Like, we support everyone, we bring everyone in, and they just, there's just such a bad light painted on Christianity right now that I feel like it's hard to talk about it to other people, and you don't want to talk about it to other people because you don't want those assumptions made about you, I think.
Yeah, it's an immediate judgment or skepticism, and you have to be like, no, not that kind of Christian. That's hard to navigate in the dating world, especially I'm on dating apps and stuff, and I'm gonna put that I'm a Christian on my dating apps. It's an important part of Gen Z as well. They don't know yet, but I know. And
I think
and there's lots of people that probably wouldn't match with me just because I said Christian, and I didn't even get a chance to explain what kind, because they're just gonna make a snap judgment. But I definitely let my faith speak through actions more, because if I talk too much about my faith, or if I, mention church one too many times, I can feel people around me kind of like get uncomfortable, which sucks. But that's why I'm grateful to have such a great church community where I can thrive in my faith, and I'll just let my actions speak in the world outside of these walls more than my words.
I've seen, so at my school, there's a lot of kids that are that type of Christian. So then it's really bad when you say you're a Christian, and then they just automatically think that you're that type of Christian as well as them. Especially when, like, it's not even really their choice, it's just what their parents have been taught, and they're just passing it down more. And I feel on social media, it's always those types of Christians that are always like posting things about how God's not gonna love you unless. And it's just, like, I talked to my dad about it, because it's really, really dumb, because they're just spreading really weird, wrong things.
I think I've had a fortunate experience with sharing my faith with others. I have a very, close-knit group of friends that I hang out with, do a lot of stuff with, and all of them are very accepting. We don't always talk, a lot about faith and Christianity or anything like that, but I have friends of all different faiths. I have Jewish friends. I have all types of friends, and we kind of find a common ground in understanding that people aren't always gonna agree with what you believe in, and that we know that we shouldn't be like them, and that we should always be accepting of anybody and whatever they believe. And I haven't really experienced a whole lot of judgment or anything like that, because I don't talk to a whole lot of new people, but I think I am fortunate in the case that I do have people around me and in my life that share the same kind of compassion towards others.
I think when you leave your, growing up congregation, you move into the college world, there's a lot of people, according to all the things you guys were just saying, that just find it easier to disconnect from it. Especially when you don't have sort of the push and watchful eye from your parents. And I remember kind of thinking, I was like, am I the crazy one for sort of still wanting to be in it? And don't know if I've answered that question, but I think it's just something that I know, and I think these guys know what value there is here, and being able to continue that even when you may not have your whole congregation that you grew up in is just like it's a difficult challenge, but I think it can really be worth it. And then for me, finding a congregation like this is just a great way to continue growing it and figuring out what's important to you. Yeah.
Thank you for those very honest answers. Did you want to say something, Anna?
Yeah, there is a club at our school. I don't remember the name of it, but it's just a club where Christians can come and talk about faith. And I went to it once, and I never went back to it because when we split up into our groups, there was girls and boys, and the girls were talking, and there was some reading or whatever, and then people were talking about how you can't be part of the LGBTQ community and still go to church, and you can't be this and still go to church, you can't be that and still go to church. And I sat there and I didn't argue, but I argued I was like, I don't think that. I think that God loves everyone no matter what. Like, you're gonna go to heaven no matter what because he's gonna forgive you. He loves you. If God is gonna love you, he's gonna forgive you. I don't know. And they just gave me the most judgmental stares, and I was like, okay, so this is not the place for me, but I think it just everything that everyone's been kind of saying, like, I don't know, yeah. It's not very fun.
Thank you for those answers, and very, very honest and filled with integrity. We're going to have one-word answer, a one-word answer. What fills you with hope?
God.
That's 2 words.
Two-word answer.
Perspective.
Perspective.
God's love.
Hey, you already said your answer.
You can skip.
I'm trying to sum it up into 1 word or 2 words. I mean, unity?
I've put them on the spot now, so this is really hard for them. So, all right, but we have to talk fast.
That's fine.
So, more words, but talk fast.
Those Google year in review videos, have you guys ever seen those? They make me cry every year, and they give me hope because it shows how good conquers evil in the world, and it doesn't take away from the bad things that have happened in each year, but it really always lifts me up and fills me with hope. So the Google year in review videos give me hope.
I'd say teamwork in every aspect of life, whether it be the little things, the big things, anything you do, it's always important to surround yourself with people that'll help you and have similar goals as you.
Great. You want to say something?
I don't really know. I haven't really thought about this question. I think Lila wants me to say her name. I think Lila. But I don't know. I think I don't know. Just people helping people. I don't know.
That's good. That's good. People helping people. You have anything you want to say?
I said perspective, and I think that giving yourself the chance to sort of step in other people's shoes is something we should all do more often. Even this panel helps do that. So yeah.
Thank you. Let's give it up for this panel of Gen Z. They are so brave, courageous to be up here and being willing to be in the spotlight and answer these questions. I encourage you to speak to them at some point and express your appreciation. Let's pray together. Good and gracious God, We thank you for the community of Christ the King Lutheran Church, and for the community of people who surround these Gen Zers and all those in their generation. We thank you for their efforts to live faithfully in their own lives, and for the ways that you nurture them and grow them up in faith. We ask that you'll bless this panelist, that you'll bless all Gen Zers wherever they may be, and that you'll show the rest of us how it is that we can be a blessing to them. We give thanks for their parents, teachers, and all those who lead and guide. In Christ's holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, everybody.
No,